west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till they death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy, it get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends, so we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he a domino. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we go check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid. Shit has gotten retarded since all the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupons for Uber. Rhymes hard like they've been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by black Apollos, let the send me a showstopper, been stopper since the teeny bopper. But now I'm going off Patron and premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's working mama. No marijuana say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm up on it, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when they eat on, none of them can get to the fire around with me. And I had them niggas spit like a tire, down the D. And I'm still dope as a picker. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel igniter, I'm winning coming through with the title because UP. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till the death they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
Back row.
You'll never see another nigga like this. Used to have that white bitch popping on the night shift. Now I'm one westward, sharper than an ice pick. On you rappers' necks and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go on, close your eyes. There's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Runners on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Who are riches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burning in the low jacket. My co-cabinet, riding on these whole rappers. My whole fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury. I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses after the war just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my whole time. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, they got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the sunny. My wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her. They don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain. It's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. You can't. The streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. My whole life.
Time, man, shit. Make sure you let these niggas know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Get on this motherfucker. Let these niggas know what time it is, you understand? We royalty.
King Ty really one of the realest. I survived drive-bys from them killers. Like I got 9 lives, I got 9 wives. I said fine wine with them bitches. I'm spitting fire bombs in your city. I got like 8 or 9 niggas with me. And we all ready to die in a minute. One West, we the best in the business. I get offended, I fuck niggas fended. Talking they get it, but niggas is timid. Rappers is softer than linen. Catch me y'all parking lot pimping. What more could I give them? I've been the hottest forever. Why would I lie about cheddar? I could do better. I just put loyalty first. Royalty coming whenever. Pull off in the Jetta. Curvature on me, you sweater. My feel like wearing a sweater in summertime weather. Haters so salty, no pepper. You not that seasoned or clever. I'm with the rebel. Used to pump bass with the treble. Baking a cake in a kettle. I used to cook up the work. Now I just cook with the metal. Gotta keep foot to the pedal. Yeah, let me give it gas on the highway. Let the music blast on the calm day. Break the Glock down into 3 parts. Put the 3 together like my Najee. Just like Bombay with my enclave. Got my mind made. Ain't no time waste. Eating prawn steak with a fine date at a fine place. Getting violated.
Hey, listen. I already told these niggas. You understand? I call up King Ty. He say, what's up? I say, what's good, my lord? Listen, he like, listen. These niggas ain't ready for none of this. You understand? I said, listen, if the nigga ain't One West, he ain't got it on his arm or his chest. I don't give a fuck about the nigga. It's just me and my niggas. We royalty, yeah.
I got the hammer, you running, man. Come through your window like brother, man. Snapping your neck like a rubber band. Talk to my dog like the sun is saying. He told me murder you rappers. Uppercut sending you vertical actors. Y'all got me coming with verbal attackers. I might attack you type physical too. So y'all be rhyming the way y'all be shining. I'm blinding these rappers like Mr. Magoo. These haters miserable, we indivisible. Look at these haters like they got no clue. They hold up ones in them W's. Really, bro, don't get too comfortable. If you ain't cut from the cloth, co-signed by the boss, then we do not fuck with you. Cause you wouldn't last here. I told you the same shit last year. Keep talking that trash, I have a car come kick your ass here. Your jaw like glassware. We pull up, not rocking no mask there. Don't care if you spot us, you know how you got us. It's over, you saying your last prayer.
All right, Shalom, Lord in Christ. This is the Israelite School, Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanan. And we have been called to teach the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and Native Americans that not only are we the children of Israel, but also that there's a lot of misinformation out there as far as the Bible goes, the world goes, who you are, what you're supposed to do, what you should eat, what you should wear. And the scriptures have all the answers. You can't, damn right, you can't get the answers in the 40 laws of Ma'at. You can't get the answers in the Book of the Dead with the Egyptians, but in the scriptures, you can get all the answers. And some might try to say that the scriptures have been, contorted by our oppressor, this, that, and the fourth. But there's so many verses that prove otherwise. You'd have to be an absolute idiot to actually read it and then still come to that conclusion. So if I could, from my first verse, I would like Amos 3 and chapter 2. If somebody can grab that for me, Baba Kashab.
Verse 2.
Chapter 3 and verse 2, because when you look up different stuff online, sometimes you just can't get the answer because of how great our oppressor is at misinformation and lies. And after we read Amos 3 and 2, I'm gonna get into that. That's one of the reasons why we don't understand, the plight of our people, because we have, come so far away from serving the Most High, truthfully. In spirit and in truth. Instead, we serve the Most High carnally. You have a lot of issues with, people who want to, worship the Most High, but it's for a financial gain. But if somebody can read that for me for Amos 3 and 2, so we can get clear exactly the relationship between the Most High and his actual, children, who he's calling his children.
Khan 901 Khan. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known.
So you only have I known. Let's get a little bit of a slang to explain that. And I use this all the time. When somebody says you don't know me, they don't actually mean you don't know my name, possibly address, where I'm from, this, that, and the fourth. It's almost to say you don't know me like that. We don't have that type of relationship. Y'all get what I'm saying? If I could.
If I may, can you go to verse 1 for context?
Oh, Khan out of one Khan. Let's read verse 1.
Khan, this is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord have spoken against you, O children of Israel.
The water Matashi Allah, because that's the most important part right there. Who is it actually addressed to? Who is it addressed to? And it says, hear, O word, Slaki, I'll just let you say it so I don't even have to paraphrase it.
Hear this word that the Lord have spoken against you, O children of Israel.
So not only just to you, against you, like he's charging the children of Israel with something. Like, didn't I tell you? Like, that's how a father would talk to a son or a daughter, right? This is a familial relationship. Continue.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying.
That word family there lets you know the relationship and how he's letting them know, like, look, I brought you up out of the hand of the Egyptians, out of bondage.
Right.
Like there is a consequence to you not listening because of what I've done for you. And we know that in here is to be the covenant. Once the Most High brought us out of Egypt and made a covenant with us, we are bonded. We have to do exactly what we said we were going to do when it concerns the Most High and his word. Continue.
You only have I known, of all the families of the earth.
So that like I said, that's like the opposite would be you don't really know me. Like that would be the opposite. But in this, the Most High is saying that about the other nations. He doesn't know the other nations. He's saying out of all the families of the earth, only you have I known. Continue.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
When a group of children are doing something that's out of pocket, like let's say if a brother catches his son doing something, but there's a whole bunch of other children that he doesn't know, he's not whooping everybody's behind. He's not putting everybody on punishment. He knows that child. He doesn't know everybody else, for an example. So God doesn't know the children, Salakia. God doesn't know the other nations. He didn't make a covenant with the other nations. Right. It would be like a father setting rules. Now, this wouldn't make sense if a father set rules in his household and then punish people outside of his household for breaking those rules. They under a whole different set of rules. They don't have a covenant like we have. Any more on that? Okay, Most High in Christ. So there's a question you could ask, because we know in here that the Most High's favorite people are the children of Israel. That's his chosen people, the people that he has chose to separate and set apart. But when you ask a question on the internet, you might not necessarily be able to get to that. So if you ask who are the Most High's favorite children, or you ask something like what is God's favorite river, you might not get the correct answer on the internet, because everybody is going to give you philosophy on the internet. So I'll read something from an AI overview, because I wanted to search and see, okay, well, the scriptures plainly say it. Can I actually get the answer on the internet? You know, AI is supposed to be intelligent, right? Artificial intelligence, right? So when I said God's favorite river, this is the AI overview. It says the idea of a favorite river of God is a human concept. That sounds like it would know what it was talking about, right? Those words sound well put together, like it knows what it's saying. As it's impossible to know the preferences of a divine being. Like, wow, okay, that's deep. Somebody might even say that and sound completely intelligent. Y'all ever heard of the guy? I think his name is Billy Carson. And it's this brother that talks about the Bible, and he talks about aliens, and he talks about, you know, all these weird things that happen, how Christ had a wife, this, that, and the fourth. And he sounds so intelligent. But when some, you know, Christian oppressor just literally knew like a tenth of the Bible, he was able to shut Billy Carson down. Let's shut this AI overview down. Let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 5, and we'll start at verse 23. We'll start at verse 23, because the AI overview sounds like it's something intelligent. A lot of these people in the world sound like something intelligent, but it's 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 23. It's in the Apocrypha, Salakia. If you don't have the Apocrypha, there's one right there. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Apocrypha, because I see we do have new, a couple, new faces in the classroom. What the Apocrypha is referred to as the apocryphal books. In 1611, King James had commissioned translators to translate those books. So in the original King James version, those books were listed in the original Bible. It was 80 books. But the Protestants during the Protestant Reformation decided that they didn't want those books in there for various reasons that they didn't even list. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into it. And while y'all get to that, let me see who we got in the chat real quick.
You said 5.
We can start at so 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 23. We'll start there. All right, but let me see. We got love all three. Shalom, Yahweh, Shamar al-Thun by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's Shawan checking in. Most High in Christ, and we got Kanai checking in. Shalom, Yahweh, Shamar al-Thun by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's Rib of Priest and Officer 5K Thashayim. Most High in Christ. All right, so who got it for me?
Come. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 23. And said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, though thou hast chosen thee one only vine.
Okay, so right there, this is describing something that the Most High chose. And when it says he chose it, that means that is his favorite. That's what this is actually saying. A lot of the misconceptions of what we should be doing when it comes to the Lord is simply the fact of we're being misled by people. The AI overview said we don't know what a divine entity would be thinking because we're humans and we don't have that capacity. So if our thoughts are not the Most High's thoughts, where will we actually go to find out what the Most High wants from us, what he desires from us, what is his favorite? We will go to the scriptures because the AI overview doesn't have the answer. It says of every wood of the earth. So it's talking about of every single plant on earth, the Most High chose one vine. He chose the vine as his favorite. That's verse 23. AI overview is wrong already. Let's continue to verse 24.
Come. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
So what do y'all think that means before y'all go to the next verse? What would the pit be?
The lot of Israel? What? The lot of Jacob?
Salakia? Say that. I'm sorry.
Israel, basically.
It would be the land of Israel, or it would be Jerusalem, Zion. That's what it would be. Continue.
Come. And of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
So not the rose. The Most High didn't choose the rose. He chose the lily. You guys ever heard of David's lily?
Come.
It's like a symbol that, you might see a brother wear every so often. So far, go ahead.
Oh, like lily of the valley?
Salakia?
Lily of the valley?
No, like the actual flower lily. Like,
yeah.
Right. So what we're reading here is pretty much just stumping the AI overview. And is he showing you a picture of what it looks like? Okay, Most High in Christ. Okay, no sweat. So what we fail to realize is the Most High does have a favorite. He has a favorite plant. He has a favorite flower. He has a favorite people. But we tend to not understand that because we have so many false prophets out there telling us something else that don't even know to refer to every book that King James had actually authorized. So who would the Protestants be to say that these scriptures are unauthorized versions when people that were far beyond the translating abilities of the Protestants were able to translate it for King James? He found the absolute best translators. And this is one of the things that were translated. All right, continue.
And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river.
So where do y'all remember where Christ got baptized? By John?
Jordan?
Yes. So God does have a favorite of a lot of things, and he's put that on us. I'll give you a perfect example. I have an aquarium. Me and my wife, we did like an aquarium. We built it, and we had all these fish. We had African cichlids. We had these glow sharks. We had all these other fish that were in there, and the worst ones in there were these African cichlids. They are the worst tank mates I've ever seen in my life in an aquarium, right? So then I decided to get me a fish that I would like the most out of all of them. And when I put him in that tank, I saw that the African cichlids were infringing on him, like not letting him eat because he only eats one thing. He only eats one thing. They eat the other foods, but this one, he's particular. He's an Amazonian pufferfish, right? So what I decided to do, because at the point where I put him in, he became my favorite fish. Every other fish in that tank can die. I only care about him surviving. This is absolutely true. I don't care about any other fish in that tank. Yeah, I like some of the other fish. There's a pleco in there that cleans the tank, the glowfish. They did a good job of cleaning the tank, but I got one favorite fish. So I was willing to get rid of those fish for that fish, like the Most High is willing to get rid of every other nation. So they kept destroying the tank, like the heathens are destroying the world now. They kept, butchering and bullying other fish in the tank, these African cichlids. And they were stopping my favorite fish, the Amazonian puffer, from eating. So do you know what happened to those cichlids? They're no longer in the tank. They got fed to some piranhas at my wife's cousin's house. And that's the way the Most High is going to deal with these other nations. And that's a perfect example, because if you can understand the nature of yourself when you have a favorite, when something is bringing you, like, let's say it could be a pet, it could be your child, when it's bringing you, pleasure, and it's serving its purpose, and something gets in the way of that and does wrong to it, you're going to stop that from happening, right? That's the way the Most High is, and that's the way he, called us to be. But let me stop with the personal stories. Let me get back to the scripture, Salakia. All right, where were we at? We were verse 25. All right, so we were at the part where it said the one river. All right, somebody wants to continue reading.
And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled the one river, and of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion?
Yeah, Zion, like Zion.
Yeah, until thyself.
So the Most High hallowed or separated, because to be holy, it's separated. So if you think for a second that there is some divine entity that doesn't care what you do, it just wants you to be happy and live life, you should see that it's a lot more complex than that. If the Most High is so particular about the plant that he likes the most, the river that he likes the most, and then he decided to give a certain people a word and a law and covenant to follow, do you think you can really do everything you want to do? Like, you can't go into your father or your mother's house and do everything you want to do. They have rules.
Right.
They have things that are, ordinances in the house that you can't, go against. Some people in their house, you can't walk across certain areas with your shoes on. Certain areas you can't, you can't leave the refrigerator open in your house. It's not as simple as just being chaotic. Yesterday, we talked about how the Most High wanted everything in decency and order, and that's how he wants his people to be. Continue.
And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named the one dove.
The dove, not the eagle.
Right.
And for a lot of these heathens to have, access to the scriptures like they do, and they see that the Most High, so before the Protestants had ever taken these scriptures out, a lot of heathens were able to have seen that the Most High chose the dove. They decided to have the eagle. That's what even Russia, because have you guys ever seen that two-headed eagle that a lot of these nations have on their crest? A lot of these nations, especially the European ones, they chose the eagle over the dove, when the Most High said the dove is what I chose. Remember when who was it? John that saw the Spirit descend on Christ like a dove? He didn't say a pterodactyl. He didn't say a hawk. He didn't say any other flying creature. He said the dove, because even John knew that was the Most High's favorite bird. Continue.
And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided the one sheep.
Yeah, steaks are good. It's delicious. But the sheep, that's what the Most High chose. Don't lamb chops come from sheep too? Can't you, kind of?
Family.
Yeah, about the same family. But that's what the Most High chose. He didn't choose the bull of the other cattle. He chose the sheep. Continue.
And among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people.
So he got one out of all the multitudes that he created. It's only one people, one family on the earth that he chose, like we read in Amos 2. What was that? Amos 3:1? Yeah, Amos 3:1. Continue.
And unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all.
So he gave us one law. We have to follow that. It's not as simple as just running around doing what you want. It's not as simple as just taking every single ideology that you can think of and then just hoping and praying that when your time is up, that he's going to let you, be where you want to be. That's not the way this works. The Most High gave us a law that we have to follow. And he chose us out of all the families of the earth. If I could, let me get Matthew 1:21, if I could. And if somebody could hold whoever's getting Matthew 1 and 21. Somebody hold Luke 24 and 46 for me.
Gone. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua.
So who shall bring forth a son?
Mary.
Mary shall bring forth a son. And who shall he save?
For he shall save his people from their sins.
Exactly. So the Most High said in Second Esdras that he chose one people and gave them the law. Didn't his people break the law? So who did Christ have to die for in order for us to come back and be saved? He died for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites. Matthew 1 and 21 is clearly stating who Christ died for. And the reason why Christ died is because we broke the law and we needed a sacrifice that would, be for the remission of sins. Does somebody have that that verse I had asked for? What was it again? It was yeah, if somebody could read that.
24:36.
46.
46. Okay. Luke 24, verse 46 reads, and said unto them, thus it is written, and thus it behooved Christ to suffer and to raise from the dead the third day.
Continue.
And that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations.
So why would, if the scriptures are saying that Christ died for his people, if it's saying the Most High chose one people, can anybody tell me why? And hone in on sins as well. But why is it saying among all nations? Can anybody just give me the simple version of why it's saying all nations?
Because we were scattered.
That is a perfect answer. Because for our sins, we were scattered amongst all nations from the four corners of the earth. Like we were just scattered everywhere. So if the remission of sins doesn't get preached throughout all the nations, all the Israelites don't have a chance to come back. All the Israelites don't have a chance for the quote unquote good news to be heard. And that's a very important point, because some would just be ready to give the covenant that we have with the Most High to a completely different nation, or usher in the same people who are going to continue to destroy us. Because it would seem like what you see on TV, what you encounter on your day-to-day basis, that sometimes everything is getting better and it's just fine. But if you really have a spiritual ear or a spiritual eye, you'll see that things aren't getting better for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. You see the position of our people. We spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but you can look at things and see on, social media and also the news that every single chance that an image is shown of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is something terrible. Like I'm flipping through my timeline once again on the Instagram, and I'm seeing some brother that looks like a Ninja Turtle from social media. He's like, they call him like, he's like the Ninja Turtle plumber, something weird. I don't know if y'all ever seen Pop the Balloon. He was on Pop the Balloon, but now he gained like some type of, fandom to where now he's on these reality TV shows, and all he's doing on there is fighting. That's the image that they have of us. He's fighting, men, trannies, like all types of stuff. Like it popped up, and it's just, that's what we are. And then when you go to the LGBT community that's on the show, that's another thing that they show of us. And then we become the face of something abominable to the Most High. Like they get to show us in a fashion to where we're no longer in our natural state. We're not in a position to have, man, woman, and child. It's literally a man running around with a lace front on, swinging off on people on reality television. And then when somebody talks about civil rights, now they get to add in the LGBT community. That's what they get to add in. Like, how many times do we have to be paired up with something that's counterproductive, to our survival here? Or on the other hand, how many times do we have to be blamed for the LGBT community being pushed into schools. Because the last time I checked, that was orchestrated by the small hats. Last time I checked, that was orchestrated by the government, not black people. We don't have any control over what happens in schools. We're not the ones putting, men in wigs in front of children and having them read books. That's not what we're doing. But before we were destroyed by our oppressor, to this extent, black people were one of the last people to accept that, that lifestyle, the LGBTQ lifestyle. We were the last people to accept that. And then slowly but surely, you can see that it's being accepted all over. And that's something that's destroying us, because the Most High does not want that for us. Who can give me a precept on the Most High not wanting us to live an LGBTQ life? Who can give me a precept?
In Sodom and Gomorrah, he destroyed, in the cities, he destroyed everyone.
That's a perfect example. Can somebody get that? I believe it's in Genesis. Genesis 19. Let me see where we'll start at. Because that's what we should be reading to see the example of what to do and what not to do. That's what the law is about. The Most High has it mapped out and written out for us, and it's been passed on through ever words when oral tradition failed. Because at a time we lost our heritage, right? So we didn't know what to do. But now we can come back and we can read it through the scriptures. So let's try Genesis 19. Let me see how far we need to go up. Let me see. Let's go down to 20. Yeah, let's start at 17.
Or you wanted to where it started raining fire and brimstone?
Yeah, we could just talk about that, because that's the destruction of it. And just brief synopsis of the story. Sodom in the scriptures was a place that was well known for homosexuality. Sodom was so bad that when angels came to visit, they wanted to take it from the angels. They wanted to SA the angels. The Most High was so tired of Sodom that he decided to rain fire. And anybody who witnessed it and looked back and didn't listen to what the Most High said was going to get turned into a pillar of salt. Let's start at verse 17.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 17. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. Look not beyond thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountains. He
told them to get high ground, pretty much. He told them to go ahead, and for your life, you need to escape. It was Lot, correct? Lot was doing what he was supposed to do. He wasn't living that type of lifestyle, but the other people that were left in the city were, and this is the fate that they suffered because of. Continue.
Lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast manifest thy mercy, magnified thy mercy, and which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life, and I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some of the evil take me.
And Salakia, we can skip down to verse 28 so we can see the after effects of what happened.
Verse 28. And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and towards all the land of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace.
So that city was on fire. That city was smoking. It went up. Who else knows another place that's going to happen to?
Salakia, the daughter of Babylon, America.
Damn right. Because what is America compared to in the scriptures spiritually?
Babylon,
Sodom and Egypt.
Sodom and Egypt.
So the same fate of Sodom is going to happen here pretty much as far as fire is concerned. And it's a spiritual thing because we know this isn't physically Sodom because that's been destroyed, but it's spiritually Sodom. And we could tell from what's going on why the Most High would have that written in the scriptures. One of the reasons is when it says, or not when it says, but do you guys remember when, and this might not be well known, but Barack Obama decided to put like tariffs and embargoes on an African country because they wouldn't accept the homosexual lifestyle. Do you remember that? What on earth would possess a country to tell another country they have to accept men laying with men or else their people can't eat? That has to be spiritual Sodom. What other nation does that? The United States does that. There's really not another powerful nation that can dictate whether your country starves or eats and make something as crazy as you have to accept your men sleeping with other men and your women sleeping with other women, or you can't eat. Your people are going to starve. And the sad thing about it is Barack Obama was an African, and he did this to an African country. All right. If I could, let me get, because I want to talk a little bit about the covenant. Let me get Genesis 9 and 8. If I could, because we talked about, we talked about the covenant, a little bit with, the Most High and, also it being his people and who Christ died for. The law is the covenant that he gave to us. But let's get a little bit in Genesis 9 and 8.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 8. And God spoke unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, and I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you.
So with the covenant being established with the seed, do you think that goes to every seed, or is that a particular seed?
Salaki, you see that here?
Does that go to every seed or a particular seed? Because who are Noah's sons?
Oh, Salaki.
Y'all remember who Noah's sons were?
Japheth,
Yeah.
Shem, and Ham.
Right.
Come.
They didn't get the covenant, or it didn't go down their line. It went to Shem and then down on. Let's get that in Genesis 11 and 10, because we need to see the generations of Shem. And we'll see that the covenant went through a certain line.
Come. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 10. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters.
So this is the lineage. And if I could, let's skip down to verse, let me see, because it gives Sereg, Peleg. I want to get down to when it talks about Nahor. So let's go to verse 20. Let's go to verse 24.
Come.
Or
it's
verse 20.
22.
We'll do verse 22. Salakia.
Come. And Sereg lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serag lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serag lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters.
Right.
And Terah lived 70. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
Right. So who is Abram?
The father of the many nations we see today.
Yeah, Abraham.
Abraham.
So whoever remembers that song when we were young,
Father Abraham.
right, had many sons. But we know that the line is going from Noah down all the way to Abraham and then Isaac and Jacob. Let's get that in Romans 9. Let me get there with you 1 second. Give me 1 second. I believe it's in Romans 9. Let's start at verse. Let me see. Romans 9. Let me go to Romans 9 and see if I have the right one. I'm kind of shooting from the hip this time. All right. So yeah, we can start at verse 1.
Romans 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit.
The holy, right?
That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart.
Right.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
So his brethren are according to the flesh. He didn't say like everybody else says when they said, as long as you a follower of Christ, you a believer. As long as you follower of Christ, you my brother. But that's not what Paul is saying. He says, saying my kinsmen according to the flesh, the same tribe. Like when the Most High said in Amos 3:1 on down, out of all the families of the earth, this is a family thing, a familial thing. That's what the covenants are going to be spoken about in this verse. Continue.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Israelites.
No, who are Asians?
Who are Israelites?
Who are Russians?
Who are Israelites?
Who are whoever the hell else thinks that they could just come in and take our covenant? No, it says Israelites. Continue.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
So the Israelites are whom pertaineth the adoption. At one point in time, the Israelites lost all, rights to be with the Most High because they broke the covenant. So what happened was what some people like to call, I believe, is replacement theology, where they said, okay, the Israelites messed up. Now everybody gets to come in, and that's who's being adopted. But you can clearly see in the New Testament, Paul is saying who pertaineth the adoption. They were no longer the children of God once they broke that covenant. They had to be adopted back in once Christ was the sacrifice. That's the way that works. Continue.
And the glory.
Right.
And the covenants.
And the what?
Covenants.
Continue.
And the giving of the law.
And the giving of the law. We're going to get to that too. The giving of the law, because unless you are an Israelite, you should not be giving the law. You should not be doing anything that the Most High has given to the children of Israel. So you can't be a Moabite preacher. You can't be a what else? What else we got? We got Moabites, Hamites. We got Elamites. No, it doesn't say any of those nations. It says Israelites. I'm gonna pause that real quick so I can get something from let me see. Where is that? When it talks about the kingdom of priests. Anybody know where that's at? I believe so. Salakia, give me 1 second. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Genesis 9 and 8. No, not Genesis 9 and 8. Salakia. Let me see. Exodus 19 and 5.
Khan, it's the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me.
Peculiar
treasure, Salakia. Say that again.
Peculiar.
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 All right, come on. Peculiar.
No sweat.
Treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Right. So right there, it says a kingdom of priests. That doesn't include any other nations. That the Exodus was talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, who are actually Israelites. Let me see something. You got a question?
Salakia, the next verse talks about the kingdom of priests.
Oh, Salakia, go ahead.
Con. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
So the kingdom of priests are supposed to be us. That's why it's an honor to get up here and teach, because this is something that was given to our forefathers. This is something that was given to the men and the people who ended up being delivered out of Egypt on down. And we lost that for a long time. But right now we're here to put it back. That's why we should take this very, very seriously, you know, when we up here doing this. All right, we can jump back to where were we? Romans 9.
We was in verse 4. I could just go ahead and finish that up.
Yeah, let's get it. The water.
All right. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the glory, the covenants, and the giving of the law, and their service of God, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
So what is verse 5 saying? Let's read that one more time. Let's slow that down, because a lot of people say, well, Christ died for everybody because Father Abraham had many sons. And if you're the seed of Abraham, which is everybody, you get to, you know, be involved with the covenant. But so far, the scriptures in Romans 9 are speaking against that. They're saying, they're making the people that say that liars. That's what's happening. So let's read verse 5 one more time, a little bit slower for the people who have ears but cannot hear.
Whose are the fathers,
Right.
of whom, as concerning
Right.
the flesh, Christ came.
So who Christ actually came for? All right, we can go to regular speed for the rest of it.
Who is over all, God bless forever. Amen.
Right. All right. Now let me see. I do want to skip down a little bit more. Let me see. Let me see. Where is the verse that I really want? Give me 1 second. All right. Let's skip down to, let's go to verse 7. Let me see. Do I want to go to 7? Let's go to verse 7. Matter of fact, yeah, same verse. Let's go to verse 6. We'll just keep going down because it's going to bridge that gap.
Okay, Romans chapter 9, verse 6. Not as though the word of God hath taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
Right. So at a point in time, there were people that lived in Israel that were removed by a certain king that were following, you know, the laws or, you know, something close to it, but they weren't actually us. Our people had been removed. But Paul's letting you know that the prophecy still stands. Continue.
Neither because they are seed of Abraham.
Neither because, but it was supposed to be with the covenant was supposed to be with the seed of Abraham, right? But how Abraham had what, like 5 sons or something like that? 8. Abraham had 8 sons, but which seed was the Most High talking about? Not all 8, but let's see who he's talking about.
Are they all children? But in Isaac shall the seed be called.
So neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. So just because he had 8 sons, that doesn't mean they're the children of God. It's Isaac who is starting the line of the children of God. Let's read that one more time.
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall they seed be called.
So if I didn't read that from the scriptures, wouldn't that seem like a harsh statement to make? If I was like, yeah, if I saw a Moabite or a Edomite or a Hamite, and I say, you're not the children of God, somebody would be quite upset. So sometimes we just got to let, you know, the scriptures be true and every man a liar. This says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Continue.
That is, that which are the children of the flesh.
So the other children are the children of the flesh. They're not the children of God. Continue.
These are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are accounted for the seed.
The seed of who?
Isaac.
Damn right. Continue.
For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also heard, Rebekah has also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac.
Right.
For the children being not yet born.
So this is talking about Jacob and Esau. You have Jacob and you have Esau, who are pretty much, you have Jacob, he's the progenitor of the Israelites, and then you have Esau, the progenitor of the Edomites. Those are two different nations, but they ended up being in one single womb. And if you can see one group of people who do not get along, whether they're around each other or not around each other, you can see that it is the oppressor and the children of the slave today. And that was even in the womb when they were first in conception. Continue.
For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
So let me stop right there. So we're still talking about the covenant, because everybody doesn't get the covenant. That's why it's a very great and special, and it's a holy thing, a separate thing that to have that covenant and have that passed down from your forefathers, from God. But when you try to tell people this information here outside of the Bible, and they've heard so many indoctrinated views on God in the scriptures, it's not something that computes, because this is talking about Jacob and Esau, and it's going to say some very heavy things about Esau. So let's continue.
Romans 9:11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
So they haven't even been born yet. They haven't done anything wrong or right. Continue.
That the purpose of God, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth.
So it doesn't matter what they did at this point, because the Most High decided, like he chose the dove, like he chose the vine, like he chose the river. He chose to choose Jacob instead of Esau. He chose to give the Israelites a covenant and for us to follow the law, right? That's what we've been talking about this whole time. That's what we've been seeing this entire time. But with replacement theology and all these other, philosophies, you would believe that, no, everybody is one of God's children. You will believe that, everybody can come to the covenant. And in the kingdom of heaven, everybody is going to reign with Christ. But that's just not the case. Continue.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
It don't say that. Can I get that one more time?
Verse 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
So when Paul said that, he's saying as it is written, like this is written somewhere else in the scriptures that Paul is quoting from. And he's saying, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So you already know Esau is not getting that covenant. If the Most High is giving out a covenant and he hates one and he loves the other, plain and simple, who's getting the covenant? The one he loves, Jacob, the progenitor of the Israelites. Let's get down to verse 14, because some people, that might be a harsh statement, and then they might be like, well, that's unrighteousness. That's wrong to do that. But Paul clears it up in verse 14 and down.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God?
Is God wrong for doing this? What's the answer?
God forbid.
Hell no, he's not. Because the Most High knew who Esau was even before the earth was formed. Before Esau left that womb, you could see now that this oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of in every way. Generally speaking, as a people, because some people might say, well, Tom on the job, he ain't never did nothing wrong to me. Billy Bob around the street, my lawnmower broke. He let me borrow his lawnmower. You might have a sprinkle of, good Edomites, but they've all benefited from our slavery, right? Has anybody returned our heritage to us after we lost it? No. We're being taught by our oppressor, and we're being taught that we can only go back as far as slavery. We're being taught that we were Africans, and then sometimes being told if we, voice our opinion about how we're being treated, to go back to Africa. Which country will we go back to in Africa? Because Africa is a continent, not a country. But let's get back to it. Verse 15.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
And the next verse is absolutely heavy. And let me see if y'all can actually get what Paul is dropping in this. Let's see if y'all can actually get what Paul is saying. Let's see, verse 17.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee, that I might shew my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
So what do y'all think that means? It says, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose. Now it's talking about Esau, but what does that actually mean in verse 17? You got the answer? All right, let's hear it. No sweat.
The same way the Lord, with a mighty hand, bring us out of Egypt, he's going to do the same thing in this Egypt, more so.
Right. But I want the other side of that.
Even the scripture.
I want the other side of that. Because it's saying
That
because it later down in the verses, it kind of tells you.
okay.
But
so
I want to see.
that some nations are made to be destroyed, so we can prove ourselves to God. More so.
All right,
Salak.
go ahead. And if you don't get it, we'll go to verse 23.
So I'm gonna basically say the Most High gave Pharaoh power to be risen up above Israel.
Right. But who is being compared to Pharaoh?
Moses.
La. It would be Esau. Let's get it in verse 23.
Oh, you saying in this verse who was being compared to?
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Let's get it in verse 23. Because this is heavy what Paul is saying, because a lot of the times, when we talk about the law, we look at other nations, and we, especially the oppressor, and we say, well, the oppressor has done so many wrong things. Why are they at the top right now? If we're supposed to be following the laws, the statutes, and commandments, how come the people on earth that are ruling over us, they don't really follow the law, statutes, and commandments? They're into capitalism. They're into hostile takeovers. They're into taking land. They're into putting images and things on TV that are unbecoming to somebody that would serve the Lord. How are they up on the top, and then I'm supposed to not be like them when they're getting rewarded? But let's read in 23 why that's happening.
Khan, it's the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 23. And
Matter of fact, Salakia, let's go to verse. We'll go to verse 21 and read 21 and 22.
Khan, this the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 21. Have not the potter power over the clay?
So God made us, but just like the potter, God made us. The potter has power over of the clay. God has power over us, the vessels that He's making or has made. Continue.
Of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor, and unto Slakia, and another unto dishonor.
So of one lump. So in one stomach, you have two nations. You have one of the nations or persons that is a vessel of honor, and one that is dishonor. Just like I can have a lump of clay, I can separate those lumps of clay, and I can make a toilet out of one, and I can make something like a vase to display beautiful lilies of the other. Verse 22.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering?
What if God, in order to show his power and execute his wrath, let this oppressor reign terror for over 400, 500 years? And he was lifted up like Pharaoh, because there was once upon a time when the oppressor in ancient times was ruling, and then they were destroyed. They don't talk much about that. But when the Greek and the Roman empires fell down, the oppressor said, I'm going to build again. And the Most High said, I'm going to destroy again. Let's read verse 22 one more time.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Fitted to destruction. So we shouldn't follow the nation of people who, just because for a short time, because this is a very, very, very short time. Once Christ rules, we're going to realize how short of a time this devil ruled. Almost to the point where we'll be surprised when we see them in museums. Like, wow, this man used to reign terror on the earth. It'd be that short. It'd be so quick. It'd be so quick. Salakia, but does that kind of clear it up as far as what it means when I'm saying Esau being raised up like Pharaoh? Because those empires, those oppressors' empires were raised up. They fell, and they're the height of it right now is the United States. This is the most powerful nation that has ever existed on earth, and only through the work of the Most High could this nation fall. There's not another country who could, defeat the United States. It's just not so. The United States is just too crafty. They've used things like divide and conquer since the times of the Greeks and the Romans. They put a puppet government in, destroy different countries like that, and then they're able to govern them. The reason why the Arab countries are able to be ruled over by the United States the way they are is because the United States makes sure the Israelis are close by. That's why we fund them so much, because of money and power. Somebody would think that the United States is just doing it for like a morality type of thing. But no, it has nothing to do with morality. It has everything to do with power, for greed. Go ahead.
And this is something I observe, because there was a big crisis over in Israel.
Right.
And we, as citizens here, decided to fund it.
Right. And if you could, what if you could elaborate for the people who don't understand about the conflict over there in Palestine, can you just elaborate on what you mean by the crisis?
Bombings, wars, people getting killed.
Right.
And so they think they're chosen people.
Right.
And so it's almost like automatic. But I do remember the Israel president saying that they're going to fight back somehow, some way, but they just don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources.
Yeah.
But yet still they get billions of dollars. Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday about, how the North American Indian and the Latinos are our brothers and sisters. And when we talk about divided and conquered, we talk about how they've made it to where Blacks and Hispanics show a sort of hatred towards each other. And it makes it easier for the oppressor to rule over us. They'll do something as simple, and I said this yesterday. They'll do something as simple as show the the Latino tribes getting a little bit of help. What were they giving them? What was it called again? What's the term for it? They were giving them like food and housing and stuff. But what's the term that they used for it? I can't remember the term, Salakia. But it's almost a type of aid that they were giving them, but it was crumbs in comparison to what they are giving to Ukrainians and Israelis. It's crumbs. And then Blacks, they said, Well, that's not fair. That's money that could be going to us. But before they even got over here and there was an issue, where was that money at? Why weren't we given the money right then and there? Why were we kept in a country that literally had us in slavery when the Jewish man and woman didn't have to stay in Germany? They were plotting on where they were going to put them, and they didn't have to stay around their oppressor. So when we think about everything that has happened to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we should remember the common enemy that we have. And the only way to get back to the Most High is to follow the law, the statutes, and commandments. All right. If I could, let me get Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 31. If I could, Baba Kashan. And what we should also, look at in these last days and time is you have the amount of hypocrisy just shown wide and abroad. And there's never going to be a time where we're going to actually be safe and allowed to flourish in this country, especially when you have Donald Trump in office saying things like he's going to let the police. I heard a quote that he said crime would stop if he let everybody beat the hell out of us. Didn't he say something like that? He said something to the effect of giving police, full immunity when they already have qualified immunity and they get away with, unaliving with that. Full immunity would be crazy. But Salakia, Jeremiah 31 and 31.
Khan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
So what covenant?
A new covenant.
So we had the first covenant that you hear descriptions about in Deuteronomy 28 and 15, or the earlier verses. But this is a new covenant. Let's read that again from the top.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Okay, was any other nation mentioned in that with the new covenant?
No, sir.
Let's hear that one more time, because I didn't hear anything about any other nation. But when you hear it from somebody else, these verses don't mean anything. Let's hear it one more time.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel,
right,
and with the house of Jacob, with
This
the house of
the
Judah.
No sweat. So why does it say? Why do you think it says with the house of Israel and the house of Judah? Because people get this. This is how you start to understand why the other Israelites had a discrepancy or had to come back. Does anybody know why it says the house of Israel and Judah?
Salakia, because Judah was the southern kingdom and Israel was the northern kingdom.
Right. That's perfect. Because at one point in time, we were at war with each other, just like we kind of at war now with each other, with the way we talk about each other in social media, to what we're doing, not having a love for our brothers. But even back then, we were separated. But the Most High is going to have a new covenant, and he's going to bring us back together. Salakia, what verse are we at? 30? Are we still on 31?
31.
Continue.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
So not like the first covenant, the new covenant. And who is the new covenant for? It is, Paul said it. It's saying it in Jeremiah before Paul was even born. Like these are things that we should be able to read and not be tricked by the oppressor or anybody else that's giving us false information, or that will pull at our heartstrings and say, look, man, hey, the oppressor deserves a second chance. Because the last time I checked, Paul said that there was a vessel for dishonor and a vessel for honor. We even see it in our daily lives. It's something as simple as me having other fish in the tank that are infringing on my favorite fish to where they got to go. They got to go. Continue.
Which my covenant they break, although I was a husband and husband unto them, saith the Lord. Verse 33.
Right.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God.
Right.
And they shall be my people.
So the new covenant, the Israelites are going to be his people. That's why Paul said, who pertaineth the adoption. So if we think that, okay, so the covenant is following God's laws, right? So we could surmise by that the laws are not done away with, or is that too complicated of a concept to understand that the laws aren't done away with? What do we think? Because if we know what's a covenant? A covenant, like what's another word for a covenant?
Contract.
Promise.
A promise, a contract. So if the first contract was broken and now we're having a new contract, we got rules to follow even with the next contract or the next promise. The Most High made a promise with us, but we're in a contract. We're in a contract. He delivered us out of Egypt, but we gotta walk with him continuously and do what he says. Let's go down to verse 34.
Verse 34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me.
Right.
From the least of them,
from a small child
unto the greatest of
to
them,
the old man with extremely gray hair,
saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquities, and I will remember their sin no more.
So if he remembers our sin no more, that means we're not reminding him anymore. That means we're not breaking the laws and statutes and commandments. That's how you forgive somebody, right? If somebody repents from the wrong that they've done to you, you forget that. You forget their sin because they're no longer reminding you and doing the same thing that they used to do to transgress against you. All right, let me just get a couple more verses. Let me get because I just want to do one contrast real quick, because we talked about how important the Israelites were in the covenant. Let me just get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 56. All right, and while y'all getting, let me just read one thing real quick. All right, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. So if you have a large bucket and a small drop falls out, it's not going to matter at all. It's a small drop, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. When you weigh things, if a small, minute piece of dust falls, it's not going to tip the scales. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have an actual impact. Just like the other nations don't have an impact on how the Most High feels about us. The Most High chose us. The other nations don't matter. That's what it's saying. Behold, he have taken the isles as a very little thing. So he's describing the nation as the other nations as isles. It's a very small thing to the Most High. They're nothing. Just like those African cichlids in my tank, it was nothing. I don't think twice about throwing them to the piranhas. It's nothing. It's nothing. My Amazonian puffer, I don't want to tell y'all his name. His name's ridiculous. It's funny. It's fun. Bumblebee tuna, that's his name. As long as Bumblebee tuna is good, I'm cool. Them other African cichlids, they're a small thing. 1,000, 1,000,000 of them could die. As long as Bumblebee tuna is good, I'm cool. Let's get that verse.
Khan. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam.
Which also, that's another thing. They come from Adam as well. The other people that came from Adam. Continue.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are absolutely nothing.
But like unto spittle.
You know how you talking to somebody and a little bit of spittle might fly out your mouth? That's absolutely, that's what they are. They're compared to spittle. All right. If I could, let me get Judges 3:1. Because some people might ask, well, if they're nothing, if they're this, that, and the fourth, why did the Most High even create them? You got one of the nations, the purpose was specifically so the Most High could show his power, so he could lift them up and destroy them like Pharaoh. And then we'll see what is the cause of the other people being created. Not only are they going to serve us while we serve the Most High, but there also is another purpose that the other nations had. And that's in Judges 3:1.
Khan. This is the book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Now these are the other nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them. What's that mean? What y'all think that means?
Salakia, to compare, to show,
Right.
to prove Israel that they are not them. They are not.
No,
like
so
the
to
other nations.
test
To
Israel.
test Israel.
That's all we need from that verse. Now, these are the nations which the Lord left to test Israel by them. So y'all got to remember, the Most High chose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, just like he made a choice for every other thing that is his favorite in the world. And we have laws, statutes, and commandments to follow, and we need to keep that covered. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass the class over to priest and officer, Taji Ali.
ITPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if the brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they will seek counsel from the heads. Tithe, which is commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, ma'ashra. That's 10% of any penny that the Lord gives you. You can put it right there in that black box with the envelopes hanging out of it by the lion's head. And free will offering for the priest, it's not mandatory. It's whatever amount you like to donate. It's if you like a certain drink, libations, we also accept that. Coming Holy Convocations, Feast of Purim, March 13th and 14th. That's on a Thursday and a Friday. March 13th and 14th. You can read more about that in Esther chapter 9. All right. And we also have the Passover coming up. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this year. All right. We have a whole week of events scheduled starting on April 9th. It's the Star of the Lamb, the water. April 9th, Star of the Lambs. April 10th is General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown. April 11th is that Hebrew Academy and the Hebrew Academy graduation, and also the Black Party.
Oh, wait.
April 12th is the Passover. April 13th is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So remember, if you're traveling, when you come back, we're going to be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So prepare your household properly. Make sure all leavening products are outside of your house, outside of your living quarters. If you live with someone, outside of your room, what have you. If you live with someone, you can put it in. If you got a car, you put it in the trunk of your car. If you got a shed, you put it in the shed for those 7 days or whatever. You don't have to dispose of it. You know what I'm saying? All right. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf like these brothers right here. With that being said, men of Israel, I'm Mike. Standing. Men of Israel, I'm Mike Shabbat. Mike, Rock. And what we said was, Most High God, name is Yahweh. In the name of whom the world ignorant called Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, bless you. All right. Yazmatah, Sar, which means to turn. Give the sister the courtesy salute, sister of Mike, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Amaitu Shabbat, Amaitu, Barak, Son Christ. What we said, what she said in return, what we said was the Yahweh is the name of the Most High God. Shamar means watch over. Al means watch. Shamar, watch. Al over you. Atha is you. All right. Guys, my top, which means hands down. Class dismissed. Thank you.
Easier so you can get around. Still have a pocket from you.